Hey, how's everybody going? I'm Fish, and I'm doing a comparison video test with the Sony ZV-1F, Sony ZV-1 Mark II. I have a DJI wireless mic on the M2 and the wireless Go by Rode on the 1F. I have the 1F just resting on top of the M2. I only got one tripod to do it with. Check one, check two. How does the sound sound? This is all external sound and how I shoot video. I'm going to try not to do a replication, but do a comparison when I'm not on the e-scooter. And I'm going to hold both cameras, and I am going to do a walking test by the water on the pier. So let's get to that video. There's not going to be any motion unless I feel comfortable, and it's only going to be one camera. I won't be able to do both. I'll do one at a time. Let's get down to the pier. This is the Sony ZV-1F in motion with the Rode Wireless Go. Now they're both on my collar, the wireless mics, and they are near the neck and how I use the sound. This is a check 1, 2, 1, 2 sound and video test. This is the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. Check 1, check 2. It gives you an idea how the DJI wireless mic sounds in motion. When I shut down the Sony ZV-1 Mark II, I don't hear a shutdown beep. Maybe there is a setting for it. Am I allowed to take a picture during recording? No. We're at the pier, and what's nice about this shot is the sun is coming up on this particular side. And both cameras again on top of one another. I didn't offer you the video settings. Let me make sure I have both on the exact. They should both be at 4K, but one may be on 24 while the other will be on 30. That is not much of a difference. So from here on, let me correct my video resolutions. And once again, let me apologize. It is quite difficult to see both cameras when they're on their brightest screens. Very difficult to see in the sun for me. I feel that the Sony ZV-1F looks just a hint. Didn't say brighter, just looks. But that may just be, I don't think so. I think they both look the same. Because maybe the 1 M2 may look. And that may be because of the scene. Check. As you get to see my setup, how I'm doing this vlog. I have just an Insta360 stick, and I have an Andy-Sin tripod that I could just put down. What I am going to do now, not to get you dizzy and all, they're identical in every way. I'm resting it right against the screen. I am going to walk in a nice, comfortable, slow walk. I'm bending my elbows just a little bit. And I'm looking at the 1F screen. I am now going to speed up my walk. And that should tell you. What I am going to do is, I'm going to turn around and do a jog. And I'm going to jog from here back there. I'm not a runner, so please forgive me if I start to bounce. Then this idea can give you a number of things. Image stabilization on a low level of sunrise, just about the golden hour. Walk to a jog. Oh man, I can't run anymore. Now, I maybe went 2.1 miles per hour. I am going to turn to the sun, both cameras, Now that's fair when I move both into the sun. And there you go. Then I am going to slowly turn around and face into the sun, which is the proper way. And how do I look? Test 1, test 2, test 3. This is like test 10 already. This is the Sony ZV-1F. It's very identical in every way to the Sony ZV-1 and the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. The only thing difference is the F stands for fixed focus. That's what people are saying. Sony couldn't tell you that. We have to figure out what ZV-1F stands for. It's a great camera, does a great job, but many people out there doesn't like this camera. And they gave it a bad word, a bad saying, a bad outcome. Autofocus, fixed focus, continuous focus. I'm not a pro at this. I will say it right out loud to you. Say it like it is. I like this camera. Then why did you update to a Sony ZV-1 Mark II? I updated from a Sony ZV-1F to the Sony ZV-1 Mark II because of the reason that when I first got it, I thought the camera was for me, that it'd be a great improvement, and something just in the back of my mind said, I already got a good camera, just continue to use it. And then here I am again with the Sony ZV-1 Mark II for the reasons of, when I returned this camera to the store, it was still at the store and no other model. And it was offered at a greater discount than you can imagine. And that said to me, I should pick it back up. I really didn't have anything bad about it to say, except that I didn't like it when it shut down. You couldn't hear any sound. And here, let me show you. You turn it on. And did you see how I put my hand in the front, like I said? And when I shut it down, it's just quiet. So I do have to go into the settings and figure out what is not right on it. And I can't do anything like that out here because it's kind of dark. This camera is going to be an upgrade to my 1F, and it is for a good number of reasons. Quicker showcase. I don't have showcase on to do this, and if I'm not centered properly, I won't be perfect. But I don't use product showcase. Autofocus. That is one of the better reasons why I wanted an update. I want things to be focused. But when I did a video, and I don't know if I still got it, maybe I will put it up here and show you that over here, it went in and out, in and out. People think that's an issue. It's not. The camera's got to do its work in low light. It was struggling on 1/25th of a second. That's what it said over there. It kept going like this, and that's when that issue went in and out. It was trying to focus hunt, but it wasn't focus hunting here. It was doing it here where you can see it. I'll put that video in there. Again, if it's in there, great. If it's not, I apologize. But let's move on. Do I see any issues with the 1 Mark II? Nothing that I could complain of, but everybody out there is saying, again, putting a bad word out there on the M2, that it's not an update to the M1. Well, it is an update. It is a second generation, and they named it the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. If you feel that the price that you paid for it is not to your liking, then you have to let Sony know and let people know. but don't put the camera down because it's out there and it does a great job. There are many people out there like me that want to update from an older model, even if it's a Sony ZV-1 first generation. I had one. Oh, yes, indeed. I returned it immediately because of, you got it, you making those comments, saying what it was. Oh, it overheats. It does this. Everything in life has a small issue. That's a 20-mile range scooter. I was going to ride over 14 miles. I knew I was going to make it. I stuck in traffic. I stayed in traffic. And I still got there to get my M2. I'm not a picture person, and also I modified my 1F to no longer take photos. I would have to go through the settings. But in the distance, you'll see the sun is coming up. It's about the golden hour, and you see the ships, boats, vessels, yachts, and how it's giving its color on a nice day. We'll do our best to get a nice shot here and slowly do a pan. Oh, I wish I could have zoomed in on that for you, man. I can't, not with both cameras. We're going to focus on the Eckert, the crane, not the one on the rope, the one that's by the water. And we'll go watch him hunt for fish. Now I can put this on slow motion, so when he goes and grabs that fish right now. I'm going to wrap this comparison up and finish it off with just the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. I don't have the proper setup gear that you can mount things and remote control and the whole 9 yards. And I've taken enough time to do my comparisons and move on. I basically use, again, my camera more for reviews than for vlogging. But since now I got a much better camera, and for me, a more expensive camera, I am going to try to use this more often for my needs. And that is a good thing. It is a good thing to take slow steps in life and get what you want. And then to sit back and say, hey, what am I missing out here? I hope I kind of made some sense to you all. I hope I kind of showed you what it was. What works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me. Ain't that right? You know who you are. DJI wireless mic, modified, love it. I gotta still see if I adjusted my sound quality just right, and I can't see a thing if it's on or off. And I hope I grabbed my footage correctly. Man, Sony, that sucks, man. I got myself zoomed in and just talked all about the camera. And yeah, it is what it is, man. When you get ruined shots, blame Sony because they control the brightness strength, thinking it overheats the camera. I was asked to do a video about comparison side by side, the 1F and the M2. And I was asked to do an overheat test, see how long the camera will run before it overheats. It's dead of summer. It's going to be in the 80s. Camera's not going to overheat. Not going to do what it wants to do. My longest video, as you can see in some scenes, may be 3 minutes long. Are you filming longer than that? Are you live streaming hours on end? Camera's not going to overheat. I'll just get over the overheating issue. It's not our concern anymore. But I will do that test down below for you one day. Not easy to hold the camera, scoot, brake, gas. Oh yeah. So off we go. Give you just a motion test again. Into the sun. You got it. So, how do you like the footage? I haven't seen it yet, but I definitely know my settings were 4K 24 with the ND filter on. I haven't shut it off or played with it since I returned this. And everything is identical in every way. A little wind's definitely blowing towards my right because I can hear it hitting my ear. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to, hang on. Okay, I'm nice and comfortable. I'm going to do my active on walk in a different area. The sun is towards my left shoulder, towards the back. And what I'm going to do is a little jog. Slow down. And then pan around. And then just simply walk. Now this gives you an idea of what both cameras can do side by side. The Sony ZV-1F Rode Wireless Go and the Sony ZV-1 Mark II DJI mic, wireless mic. Test is over. Active stabilization does a great job. When you're doing stationary shots like this, you don't need it to be on. The one thing I did turn off in this shot, and the sun is over here coming this way, and I want to be in the shade for you. Now, I have ND filter off, and I can see the screen, but it's difficult to see. It is on a dull side, any of the Sonys today. Sony believes they cause overheating issues, and that's their answer to a dull screen. I hope this actual video Real Persons test samples may help you decide on which camera, if you are in the market looking for one, and what you would do. If Sony wants to send me their over 3-year-old Sony ZV-1, or somebody out there wants to send me, and I will compare it to all three cameras. This video is not sponsored by Sony, endorsed by Sony in any way, shape, or form. Sony has anything to say. But I will give this to Sony if they needed to see, hey, we take in high consideration everyone's answer to get everything resolved. Something like that. You get the idea of writing protocol answers to people about requests. I love this camera to work. It's going to work. And I haven't yet shot one video of a DJI action on this. On that note, I am going to end this review by saying thank you very much for all your support, your comments below, share, like, love, you name it. I am Fish, Real Persons Review on the Sony ZV-1 Mark II comparisons. And thank you. Have a great day.